At the recent San Diego Comic-Con, actor Wesley Snipes created a bit of a stir when he claimed that he and Marvel had been in talks about him possibly reprising his role as Blade. Now, in a new interview with the Huffington Post, Snipes is once again claiming talks are ongoing. He said the following: "There's always a possibility, you know? It's in Marvel's hands. They're controlling the pace and the flow with that. Conversations have been good. They see the value in it. We see the value in it. I'm still in shape enough and fit enough to handle the role. So we'll see how it goes. I don't really know what's going to happen to it yet." John, are we ever going to see Wesley Snipes in a Marvel Cinematic Universe film as Blade?
Man, that's a billion-dollar question. I mean, look, first of all, him saying that he's still in shape for it is an understatement. He really is. If you saw him in Expendables 3 and even now in that new show, what is it called? Mr. Vegas or Mr. Luck or
The
Player.
the player.
Something.
Thank you. Thank you. It is the player.
He's the something. I
it's
knew.
the something.
I knew it was
Mr.
always
Vegas,
that.
Mr. Luck, the player. The player.
I like the something better.
happens in
he's,
Vegas.
He's in the something.
Cut me some slack.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly is in shape to do it. Now, whether or not people want to work with him again is another thing. Like when they did Blade Trinity, apparently he was an absolute nightmare. Like he was aggressive and cruel to his co-stars in the film. He physically attacked his director.
Yeah. David Goyer.
David Goyer.
They got into it. Mix up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, he gave like Ryan Reynolds and who was the girl?
Beale.
Yeah, Jessica Biel, Mrs. JT. Was in there and with her lightsaber bow and arrow.
Well, she always put the I gotta listen to my music before I kill vampires.
It's important if you're gonna fight vampires that you take away one of your key senses and put in music.
128 beats.
I don't even go to the gym without headphones. I'm going to kill vampires. I need some Beats by Dre to do it with.
So I mean, that's got to be one of the concerns at this point. I have no reason to not believe him when he says we've been talking. I believe Marvel would be foolish when with Wesley Snipes is out there, and he played a Blade character that until the last film was pretty beloved. You'd be foolish to not at least, hey, sit down a few times and let's have some discussions and let's see if we can brainstorm something. But whether or not it'll ever actually happen, I don't know. A Blade movie? I don't think so. Could we see Blade appear in one of these films? Maybe. I mean, Spider-Man is back around again. There's a possibility there. We had some of those discussions about that one comic book storyline that has his daughter, where she's actually the focal point of everything, and he kind of then plays a supportive, just Whistler kind of character. Right. Maybe. I would not completely write off the notion that maybe he pops up. If I had to put money on right now, I'd say no, we're not going to see Wesley Snipes' Blade again. But do not discount the possibility. Mark, how do you see it?
You always bet on black. I think that, first of all, Wesley Snipes, as far as his behavior on set, prison has a way of changing people. So when you go do some time for tax evasion, you might come out a slightly nicer person than you were before. I've always been a huge fan of Wesley Snipes. I think he's great. And seeing him as Blade again is a very intriguing proposition, not even in a Marvel movie. But what if there was a Netflix thing that was focused around Blade? That sounds like a very real possibility to me, because there's still a fan base there, but maybe not so much that you would put an entire movie into production. If you did it on a smaller scale, something like Netflix, or even maybe he pops into a currently existing Marvel Netflix property, there's a possibility there. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, but seeing Blade somewhere in the MCU, I'm not going to write it off yet. I kind of believe that Snipes and Marvel have had some sort of discussions.
Yeah, I would love to. We were talking about this earlier. I'd love to see the Blade character with Ghost Rider, with Tomb of Dracula, with Moon Knight, the whole, like, all the creepy characters from Marvel and on Netflix. Like, they're doing these 4 episodes for Netflix. They can pop off and do like a supernatural set of Netflix superhero monsters and things like that. Wesley Snipes' Blade, I mean, he's the guy who kicked off what is now the Marvel Universe. Like, that movie Blade was the very first hit film that no one even thought of. It wasn't even, they didn't really refer to it as a superhero film because no one knew who Blade was. It's a small comic book in the first place. I think he has to fight Sticky Fingers because that's the guy who took over as Blade in the television series.
It's Sticky Fingers.
Hey, look.
It's AZ.
That's what I said. Sticky Fingers.
There you go. That's
I said that the first time. So it can't be a can't hear for some reason. So anyway, I think Snipes is awesome, and he's talking about value. He adds value. Obviously, he's a Whistler now, so that would make sense. I would love to see him return to Blade. I just don't think they're going to make a Blade 4. I don't think there's going to be a movie version. It seems like,
agree.
You're
bang on with that, and let's not forget, you bring up Sticky Fingers. They tried a
Right.
Blade TV series,
Yeah.
and it lasted 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And now it is a different, for those of you yelling at your computer monitors right now, yes, it is a different story if you actually have Wesley Snipes as Blade. That does change the story, and in the new Netflix universe, maybe that's also a possibility. Yeah, let's see where things go. I'll be interested in seeing how this. But you can't wait 3 years to do something on
Right.
this. Like you're gonna have to move fairly soon on this, I would think.
Yeah, but
Wouldn't
you should check out Expendables 3 if you haven't seen it yet, just for the Wesley Snipes scenes, because those might be arguably. I love everybody in Expendables. Wesley Snipes was the brightest spot of that movie to me.
What if they did a Netflix series that wasn't like 4 different ones, but they did one that had Werewolf by Night and Dracula and Blade, and Ghost Rider. That was all like a spooky, supernatural 1 hour episode.
And that isn't all relying on Blade or the name power
Right,
of Blade
right.
to get viewers in. That has a lot of other elements. So I think
Sons of Midnight or whatever the
something
Marvel
like
series
that.
was
Yeah,
called.
and you could also be Blade's lineage. It doesn't necessarily. He can pop in as Blade without being the star.
Yeah, that would be